Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight highs up here, overnight lows down here. So we push off the overnight low here. It's already formed from over here. We push off of it. We strongly push above the EMA. It kind of goes a little choppy, but we can still see what's going on. We have this first push higher, break, second push higher. We have this measured move in play. And so we get first entry short, second entry short failure. And we clearly, we really tried to push below the EMA, but it held. We had a strong push down, but the EMA held. And the reason I don't like entering above this bar here is because it's such a small green bar compared to this large push down. If you drop down the time frame, you'd likely see STT on that. So I just wanted to see more separation because it's easy to get trapped on these kind of small bars right after a huge push in the opposite direction. But the EMA is holding here. And we got this entry here. It's just to get out before this measured move here. You don't want to push it through that measured move because it can just bounce right off of it. Notice how as soon as we reach that measured move here, we really just started going sideways for quite a few bars. So that's why I like to keep my targets within the measured moves. So we push up here. We start going into this uptrend. We have 1, 2, 3. Notice how that's a confirmed uptrend. So we go in this uptrend. We break out of the overnight high, and then we fade right back in. There's really no entry to get in on that because it's just the first break of this uptrend. We would want to see a couple attempts at a new high before entering on a failure down. But also it's just sideways right there, so there's really no way to enter that. So we have this uptrend break, which is also a bounce off this, or it's a failure to break out of this overnight high. We push back lower here. And then what you'd want to see is a push lower, and then first attempt at a new high, second attempt at a new high for this uptrend, which would act as two attempts to break back out of the overnight high, the range high right here, to get in on a failure. So it'd be like uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, failure. But you don't get that. You just push straight lower here. You do get this first attempt higher here, but it's very choppy, and you don't want to enter on a really choppy first attempt higher. And then here you make a double bottom, so that's basically a reset. You get another push higher. And it is a strong push higher, so you don't want to just immediately go short when it reaches the overnight high here. It is a strong level, but you did just have a strong push above, and it just reset here, so that's basically just a first entry. You can view that as, on a bigger picture, uptrend, break, first attempt higher, because price action levels get bigger as more time goes on. At first, you would see this small attempt here as a first attempt higher, but after it reset there, you can clearly see on a bigger picture, uptrend, break, first attempt higher, break, second attempt higher, with these two much larger legs right here. First leg, break, second leg, which I'll get more into this in a sec, but as even more price action forms, we will see that even that becomes just one leg. So then it's uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, and then it fades back down. But anyway, so after we get these two legs higher here, that is a good place to look for a reversal pattern back down, but we just don't get one. We just plummet straight back down. We start going choppy right here, and it starts forming this larger, this range that's well, not larger. It's a smaller range than the overnight range, but it is still a significant range. We start forming this range right here. EMA is flat, very clearly in a range here. And then after we start pushing up here, you can start looking for a possible uptrend here. And then we actually hold for a third time right there, but I don't want to enter in this because it's right into the overnight high, and it has been chopping through that level, but notice how it did just bounce right off that level again. So it is still the overnight high. It's still a significant level. So I'm not going to enter into it just because we're off of this trend line right here, but it does go straight up after that. It really has a strong push higher. And then, so we break out of the overnight high again, and then we're also breaking out of this range right here. So we have, those two right there, significant support right here. We push out, and so I missed out on this trade because I was just downstairs, but and then I just didn't notice it till later because I was not in the room. But this is a good looking lower high right here. We break out, we push back into this range right here. We're clearly trying to fade this range, and we also have this overnight high acting as a magnet because ranges act as a magnet. That's why they often fail, because when you break out, price will try to fail. That's called a magnet. So we have the magnet for us right here. Then we get this lower high. I don't exactly view that as a failed second entry. I see that there's a first entry short or first entry long, second entry long failure. I really just view this as a lower high that is trapping after this bar right here, because there's definitely going to be people going long here to try to buy the breakout, and then it ticks higher and then it just shoots down really fast. It doesn't go all the way to their stop, but you don't need that for the entry if you have good context. And so it's a lower high, trapping those longs right there, fading this range, and also attempting to fade this overnight range. So that's all good. And here's the thing though, you do have this possible uptrend in play, or it's not a possible uptrend, it is an uptrend. You do have those 3 bounces right there. So you have an uptrend in play, but you don't want to enter through, you don't want to push your target through that, because then it will be entering into the overnight high and this uptrend right here. Notice how, because you can't predict it's just going to go straight through all that resistance right there. Notice how at first it actually held with a bullish pin bar right off that level right there, because it's not always going to push straight through. It clearly was reacting there, but the bears did win out. It pushed straight through. But you got to be careful with that, because you do still have this bigger measured move in play. Now, I wouldn't really be worried about that in this particular trade right here, because even though the measured move is still in play and it hasn't technically been reached yet, you still have this uptrend break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, and if something tries twice to reach something and it can't reach it, what does it often do? It fails very strongly in the other direction. So that's why I like this right here. I wish I was able to get in on this, but I was downstairs, unfortunately. So we push lower here, correct to the EMA, we bounce off this support again, we push up to the EMA, and it's a really strong push down. You can't enter long immediately after a very strong push down like that, especially because it's just one leg. It's not like a second entry. And then same thing here, just one strong push up right after finding support here. So you really got to wait for prices to, pick a side. Is it going to hold off the EMA? Is it going to hold off here? We just need more price action. We want to push higher and get an entry on a second attempt higher to go long, and same thing with going short here. So there's no way to enter on either of those, but we break out, we kind of go a little bit choppy, but then we clearly fade back in and find support here. And I was looking for a failed second entry right here. You see first entry short, second entry short, failure. It never quite set up how I wanted it to, but we did clearly take off from this area right here. We had this measured move in play. I wanted something, I was using this downtrend right here. So like downtrend break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. And if we could have gotten a nice second attempt lower with a entry bar with enough room to this measured move, because the measured move was right at that overnight level as well. So you got to be careful. If we could have gotten something there, that would have been great. Clearly, it's in the right context area, but there's really just no room. I mean, if you had entered this trade, you would have to push it, well above the measured move, but also into this line right here, which it had been chopping through the overnight high pretty well at this point, but it is still the overnight high. Often it will come back into play later a lot, so you got to be careful. Notice how even though it did push through, it clearly wanted to come back and retest it. It's because the overnight high is significant, so you do got to be careful entering into it, even if price has been kind of going through it a little bit or a lot. But it also has to do with that measured move there. But we do push out here. If you were looking to go long here, you were definitely in the right mindset. So we push out. We start going a little bit choppy right here. We start going into this larger uptrend, and then we overshoot. We hold for a little bit longer here. And at this point, this uptrend here, we have uptrend, break, new high, and then we immediately plummet down after making that new high, which is not surprising, which I'm expecting we're going to get an attempt at another leg down like that, because once again, once you make a new high for an uptrend, that's how they play out, and as well as downtrends. Trends play out by having a break, new high, and then often they'll do 2 attempts at a new high. Even if they make a new high on the first attempt, they'll often do a second leg higher. And so what could happen is we'll get, and there it's going, making that second attempt lower here. So what will likely happen is 2 legs back, and then after getting these 2 smaller legs back in comparison to this leg here, then it's likely that we'll get another larger attempt higher. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, that's really going to do it for the day. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped in some way. I kind of wish that today was a little bit faster. There wasn't as much price action as I like, unfortunately, but Anyway, that's going to do it, and thanks for watching. Hope y'all have a good day, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah, goodbye.